Although the GoPro has a lot of changeable settings, and even more if you're using the GoPro Labs firmware, it can be overwhelming to learn every single setting and how to set up your camera. Now, luckily the GoPro does an amazing job of automatically adjusting settings, and that's great. However, as you get used to using your GoPro, you'll want to manually start adjusting those settings yourself. Not only will this make you a more professional user, it also gives you direct control over how your image looks, and with just a little effort, your camera images can look absolutely stunning and cinematic. So, what do all your GoPro camera settings do, and how do you get a great looking cinematic image? Well, in this episode we're going to be looking at the GoPro color settings, what the differences are between vibrant, natural and flat modes, and which settings I feel gives you the most control over your image during the editing process. So sit back, relax and enjoy the video. This is DemonView. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you tuning in, and in this video we're looking at the differences between the vibrant, natural and flat profiles on the GoPro camera, and more importantly, which color setting I find gives you the most control over editing your image in post-production. This is a very important step when it comes to being able to color grade your footage and turn your shot into a stunning cinematic looking video. Now, before you go thinking this is one of those videos that claims, change the setting on your camera now, or this is the secret to cinematic video, I assure you it's not. It's more like the first step. I mean, to get really cinematic looking video from your GoPro, you need to understand what cinematic video is, how to shoot it, and all the different settings and accessories that you're going to need to use. So it's a lot of different things that need to come together, and this is just step one. However, it's a very important step and one that you cannot afford to overlook. And so, before we begin, I'll ask you to do me a favor and click those like and subscribe buttons below. This is not a sponsored channel, I make all these videos at my own expense, and by you clicking those like and subscribe buttons, this really helps get the channel recognized. It also helps at funding these videos, and it doesn't cost you a single penny to click like and subscribe. So go ahead, click those buttons now and prove to the entire world that you are the world's second coolest person. Sorry, first place was already taken. Right, so on with the video, and let's just dive into it. What's the difference between those color settings on your GoPro and which one should you be using? Well, believe it or not, there's no one right answer. It really depends on what type of camera user you are and how you tend to post all your videos. So the first video mode we're going to look at is vibrant. Now, if you're somebody who shoots video that pops, but you don't want to spend a lot of time on processing your video, and instead you just like to put a few clips into a montage, then you're the type of person who probably really wants your video to look bright, attractive, and you're going to want to use the vibrant settings. The vibrant setting really does seem to make the colors pop. It gives them a lot of saturation and gives you really strong blacks to provide a strong contrast in your image. So if you're someone who tends to shoot quickly with the GoPro, upload it to social media straight away, then you're going to want to use the vibrant settings. So let's take a look at our image in vibrant mode. As you can see from the colors on the trees, those greens are really popping. There's a lot of strong contrast between the brightness and the dark blacks there. However, as you can see, it really is kind of like very hard to make out any details within those blacks. Then we have the natural color setting. Now, this setting is actually very similar to vibrant, but the key difference is the amount of saturation in the footage. Some people think that the vibrant settings have a little too much oversaturation in the image, so those colors really are just too bright, and they want something with a little less pop on it that's more, well, as the setting says, natural looking. Now, this is a good setting for those who put a little bit more time and effort into their video shots, probably edit them a little bit more, put in titles, and probably do some vlogging. This will still give you good strong blacks and contrasts, but without an overly saturated color image. Now we're going to take a look at the natural color settings, and here we go. Now, as you can see, the levels of blacks and whites are kind of the same, but there is a little bit less pop to those greens. As you can see, it's kind of a bit more natural looking image, and that's the whole point of the setting. Again, we've panned up at the sky. As you can see, there are very strong blacks there, and there's not a lot of midtones in there. That's the thing about using natural. You still get those greens, but if you look at that moss under the fence, it doesn't seem as green or as overly bright as the vibrant color settings. And then finally we have the flat setting, and that's my own personal favorite color settings. And that's because flat gives you the most control of your image if you're a professional video creator. Unlike vibrant or natural, this setting not only has the least amount of color saturation, but it also gives you a less strong amount of contrast. This means there are a lot more grays and midtones present in the image rather than strong crushed black levels. The downside of this setting is that unless you're actually going to color grade your image and do a lot of post-processing of your video, then this setting may actually make your video look worse. It'll look paler, more washed out, and well, flatter. So for people who like to color correct their footage or match it with footage from other cameras that have slightly different color profiles, this is the setting that you should be using. It also gives you a brighter image when you're filming in low light conditions and you're not getting those strong crushed blacks like I mentioned that you kind of get in the other two settings. So that's why when I shoot, I only use the flat setting. And finally, we're going to take a look at the flat settings, and as we can see, there's a lot of grays here. You can actually make out some of the green colored bark on the branches here, and it's really, the grays are kind of like really present here. And you get a lot more information in your image, but the greens don't pop as much. That gives you a lot of control over that in post-processing. And if we look at the clip where we're now panned up at the skies, instead of seeing these like black silhouetted trees, you can actually see all the greens on the branches themselves. And as we pan down, you can see that those green of the moss doesn't pop anywhere near as much, and the image does look slightly washed out, but that overall gives you much more control of your image when it comes to post-processing. So there you have it, the color settings of the GoPro explained and the differences between them, and why I personally only shoot in the flat settings. Having the most control of your final image when post-processing and editing will help you get those amazing cinematic looking shots that everybody wants. However, like I said, that's just step one. So I hope you liked this video and that it helped clear up some mystery about the GoPro color settings. If you did like the video, please click on those like and subscribe buttons, and until next time, cheerio. And one final thing for those of you who don't know, I'm still updating the community tab on the YouTube page quite a lot now, so if you're not clicking on that community tab, you are missing out. And I've also started a member section, and that's going to be specifically for, you know, people who are really interested in networking and really kind of want to get their business off the ground and running more. So make sure you check out those sections. And until next time, cheerio.